Hello everyone, I'm Rajasri, Assistant Professor, Department of EEE, working at MLR Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. And in today's lecture, I'll be seeing single phase dial converter. And here, dial converter is nothing but it comprises of two full converters connected anti-parallel. And here we are seeing two inductors. This is in order to limit the circulating currents. What are the circulating currents? Firstly, dial converter, it can be operated in two different modes of operation. One, we have non-circulating current mode of operation, and other we have circulating current mode of operation. And if we are operating two full converters at a time, in that case, we call it as circulating current mode of operation. Because circulating currents flows, and in order to limit these circulating currents, what we do is we connect inductors in series such that these circulating currents can be limited to an extent. So that is circulating current mode of operation. That is when both the converters are operated simultaneously. Okay, so how to operate both the converters simultaneously? By taking alpha 1, that is alpha 1 is firing angle of converter 1, which is operated at less than 90 degrees, and the firing angle of converter 2 will be operated greater than 90 degrees. And let me here consider the formula V naught average. V naught average for full converter, single phase full converter, it is 2 Vm by pi cos alpha 1 is equal to 2 Vm by pi cos alpha 2, and here constant gets cancelled. Cos alpha 1, this will be V naught average 1 will be equal to minus of V naught average 2. In that case, we get cos alpha 2. In that case, see here, alpha 1 is equal to pi minus alpha 2. Let me take alpha 2 is equal to pi minus alpha 1. So that we get alpha 1 plus alpha 2 is equal to 180 degrees. And if say I am operating alpha 1 at 60 degrees, in that case, I'll get alpha 2 is equal to 120 degrees. It is because alpha 1 plus alpha 2 is equal to 180 degrees. So here our firing angle for converter 1 will be 60 degrees. So that if we need to operate it in circulating current mode, in that case alpha 2 will be 120 degrees. So that both the summation will be 180. And here I have considered the single phase waveform. See, in order to obtain output voltage of converter 1, and as I have already told you, converter 1 will be operating at firing angle alpha 1 is equal to 60 degrees. So let's say we are triggering the thyristor at this instant called alpha 1 is equal to 60 degrees. In that case, it starts alpha is equal to 60 degrees. In that case, thyristor starts conducting. When thyristor 1 as well as 2 are conducting, T1 and T2 are turned on. See, T1 is short circuited and it is conducting current through the load, and then T2 is also short circuited and it is conducting current through the load. So this is how the current path is. And now at that instant, because these two switches are short circuited, whatever the source voltage which we are feeding will be applied across the load, and that is how we are getting the output voltage right from alpha to pi, right from this instant alpha to pi. And the moment it reaches pi, negative half cycle has been appeared, and whatever the energy stored in the inductor will try to maintain T1, T2 in conduction, and that is how it will be following the supply voltage. And so what we are getting this negative spike from pi to pi plus alpha. And by the time energy stored in the inductor is completely dissipated, at that point the voltage becomes 0, and at this point of time what happens, negative half cycle has been appeared, and because of which T2 as well as now T3 as well as T4 will be coming into the conduction state. T3 as well as T4 came into the conduction state, and because of which we are getting the output voltage right from pi plus alpha to 2 pi, and this is the output voltage of converter 1. And now let us check out the output voltage of converter 2. And if at all, if converter 2, as I have already discussed, if at all, if alpha 1 is 60 degrees, in that case alpha 2 should be triggered at 120 degrees. So here at this instant called 120 degrees, this is 60, this is 120, and I am providing triggering pulse at this instant called 120. In that case, what happens? Thyristor starts conducting and it will be following the supply voltage. So this is your output voltage, and now negative spike will be appeared and it will be conducting as long as energy stored in the inductor is completely dissipated, and at this point it is becoming 0. And now what is happening? Again at this instant called pi plus alpha, we are providing the triggering pulse such that again it started conduction. This instant called 120, I am providing the triggering pulse and it started conduction. And this is the result. This is the output voltage for V02. That is output voltage of converter 2. And this is the resultant of V01 and V02. And we get such kind of output voltage. Resultant of converter 1 as well as converter 2. If you see, the converter 1 output voltage at this instant called 0 is net output voltage of V01 is 0. At this instant, there is certain amount of output voltage present. So because of this difference in voltages, usually circulating currents occurs. And in order to limit these circulating currents, here we are making use of 2 inductors such that the circulating currents will be limited. So we have both circulating current mode of operation and non-circulating current mode of operation. And as I told you, in non-circulating current mode of operation, only one converter will be turned on at once. So because of which circulating currents will not be present in non-circulating current mode of operation. And if you see, efficiency of this circulating current mode will be less when compared to that of non-circulating current mode of operation. And if you see, this circulating current mode of operation has good dynamic response when compared to that of non-circulating current mode of operation. And here alpha 1 plus in circulating current mode of operation, alpha 1 plus alpha 2 will be equal to 180 degrees, whereas in non-circulating current mode of operation, alpha 1 as well as alpha 2 will be less than 90 degrees, will be considered less than 90 degrees itself. Both will be operated at firing angle less than 90. Whereas here in circulating current mode of operation, both need to be operated simultaneously. Alpha 1 plus alpha 2 will be equal to 180 degrees. And in coming lecture, we will be seeing 3-phase dial converter.